Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Grow English Mastery. It's your host, Scarlett. Today, we embark on a journey into the world of high-stakes international politics and leadership as we explore the life and career of one of the most influential and enigmatic leaders of the 21st century. When you think of a powerful world leader, what qualities come to mind? Perhaps charisma, fiery speeches, or bold, decisive actions? Our subject today is a leader who possessed none of these in the traditional sense. Instead, she led with quiet pragmatism, deep analytical skill, and an almost unnerving calmness in the face of crisis. For 16 years, she stood at the helm of Europe's largest economy, navigating some of the most turbulent waters the world has seen in generations. She was a quantum chemist from East Germany who rose to become the first female Chancellor of Germany and, for many, the de facto leader of the European Union. Her name is Angela Merkel. Her story is a remarkable testament to how an unconventional background, a scientific mindset, and a steadfast commitment to problem-solving can shape the destiny of nations. She guided Germany and Europe through the global financial crisis, the Eurozone debt crisis, the complex challenges of the migrant crisis, and the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. She was often described as the most powerful woman in the world, yet she remained a deeply private and, for many, an inscrutable figure. For us, as English learners, Angela Merkel's journey offers a fascinating opportunity to learn the language of politics, economics, and international relations. Her story is a masterclass in navigating complexity, the importance of careful communication, and the power of resilience. So, let's get ready to understand the quiet force that was Angela Merkel. Before we delve into the intricacies of European politics and global crises, let's first establish our clear learning objectives for today's session. What are we hoping to achieve together in the next 40 minutes? First, we will explore the extraordinary life and political career of Angela Merkel. We will trace her unique journey from a childhood in communist East Germany through her work as a research scientist to her unexpected entry into politics after the fall of the Berlin Wall, and her subsequent 16 years as Chancellor of a reunified Germany. Understanding her background is key to understanding her leadership style. Second, we will expand our vocabulary with essential words and phrases related to politics, government, economics, and leadership. These are sophisticated terms that will empower you to read international news with greater understanding, discuss current events more intelligently, and express your own opinions on complex issues with clarity. Third, our grammar focus today builds on a previous lesson. We will be mastering reported speech, specifically focusing on reported questions and commands, requests. This skill is vital for understanding how information is relayed in meetings, news reports, and formal discussions. It's how we accurately convey inquiries and directives made by others. Fourth, as your guide here at Grow English Mastery, I will provide you with a comprehensive suite of practical and thought-provoking exercises designed to enhance your listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, all inspired by the challenging world Angela Merkel navigated. And finally, our most important goal is to find inspiration in a story of unconventional leadership. Angela Merkel proved that you don't need to be a traditional politician to lead. Her scientific, analytical, and often cautious approach was unique. Her story teaches us the value of preparation, the strength in steadfastness, and the courage required to make incredibly difficult decisions on a global stage. So let's begin our examination of this remarkable stateswoman. So, who is Angela Merkel, the woman affectionately known by Germans as Mutti, meaning mother, yet also respected, and sometimes feared on the world stage? Angela Dorothea Kasner was born in Hamburg, West Germany, on July 17, 1954. However, just a few weeks after her birth, her father, Horst Kasner, a Lutheran pastor, made a highly unusual decision for that time. He moved the family east to the German Democratic Republic, GDR, or East Germany, which was then under communist rule. This upbringing in a state with limited personal freedoms, constant state surveillance, and an official ideology that was often at odds with her family's Christian faith, profoundly shaped her character. She learned to be cautious, to think carefully before speaking, and to observe situations with a keen, analytical eye. She was an exceptionally gifted student, particularly in Russian and mathematics. She went on to study physics at the University of Leipzig, and later earned a doctorate in quantum chemistry in 1986. For many years, she worked as a research scientist at the Central Institute for Physical Chemistry in East Berlin. This scientific training, the focus on data, evidence, methodical problem-solving, and rational analysis, would become the hallmark of her political style. She was trained to look for facts, not to be swayed by emotion. Her life, like that of all East Germans, was dramatically changed in November 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall. This historic event was her political awakening. As the old communist regime crumbled, new political movements emerged. Angela Merkel, then in her mid-30s and with no prior political experience, decided to get involved. She joined a new Democratic Party called Democratic Awakening. After Germany was reunified, in 1990, her political career took off with surprising speed. She caught the eye of Helmut Kohl, the powerful Chancellor of West Germany who became the first Chancellor of a reunified Germany. Kohl became her political mentor, famously calling her mein Mädchen, my girl. He appointed her to his cabinet, first as Minister for Women and Youth, and later as Minister for the Environment. She quickly learned the often brutal rules of politics. In 1998, after Kohl's government lost the election, she made a bold move by publicly criticizing her former mentor, signaling her own ambition. In 2000, she was elected leader of her party, the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, a major center-right party. Again, she was a trailblazer, the first woman and the first East German to lead the CDU. Then, in 2005, she reached the pinnacle of German politics. After a close election, she became the Chancellor of Germany, the first woman ever to hold that office. She would go on to win 3 more elections, serving a total of 16 years. A period almost matching her mentor Helmut Kohl. Her chancellorship was defined by a series of profound crises that tested Germany and Europe to their limits. First came the global financial crisis of 2008. As the leader of Europe's largest economy, Merkel played a crucial role in stabilizing the Eurozone. Her government implemented large financial rescue packages and pushed for stricter financial regulations. This was followed by the European sovereign debt crisis, which began around 2010, with countries like Greece facing bankruptcy. Merkel became the face of the European response. She insisted on strict austerity measures, deep cuts in government spending, in exchange for bailout loans. This policy was deeply unpopular in the affected countries and even within Germany, but she argued it was necessary to save the euro. It showcased her toughness and her commitment to fiscal discipline. Perhaps the most defining and controversial moment of her leadership came in 2015 with the European migrant crisis. Hundreds of thousands of refugees, many fleeing war in Syria, arrived at Europe's borders. While other countries were closing their doors, Merkel made the momentous decision to allow over 1 million asylum seekers into Germany, famously declaring, "Wir schaffen das." We can manage this. This decision was praised by some as a courageous act of humanitarianism, but it also led to significant political backlash and social challenges within Germany. And finally, towards the end of her tenure, she navigated the initial stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. Her calm, science-based public addresses were initially praised both domestically and internationally. She drew on her scientific background to explain the virus and the need for public health measures. Throughout these crises, her leadership style remained remarkably consistent. She was not a charismatic orator. She rarely gave grand visionary speeches. Instead, she was known for her pragmatism, her meticulous attention to detail, her preference for small, incremental steps, and her ability to build consensus through long, often exhausting negotiations. She was the ultimate crisis manager, a leader who seemed to thrive on dissecting complex problems and finding rational solutions. She was often described as the most powerful woman in the world and the de facto leader of the European Union. Angela Merkel chose not to run for a 5th term and stepped down as Chancellor in December 2021, leaving behind a complex legacy that continues to be debated and analyzed by historians and political scientists. Her journey from a pastor's daughter in East Germany to one of the longest-serving and most influential leaders on the world stage is truly one of the most remarkable political stories of our time. The world of politics and economics is filled with specialized vocabulary. Mastering these terms will significantly enhance your understanding of global affairs and allow you to discuss complex issues with greater confidence. Let's add these important words to your English toolkit. First, let's focus on words related to politics and government. Chancellor, noun, meaning, the head of government in some European countries, notably Germany and Austria. It's equivalent to a prime minister. Example: 1. Angela Merkel served as the Chancellor of Germany for 16 years. Example: 2. The Chancellor will address the nation tonight. To govern, verbal meaning, to conduct the policy, actions, and affairs of a state, organization, or people. Example: It is a complex task to govern a large and diverse country. Example 2. She was praised for her ability to govern effectively during times of crisis. Related words: government, noun; governance, noun; coalition, noun. Meaning: a temporary alliance of political parties forming a government, or of states. Example 1. Chancellor Merkel often had to lead coalition governments formed by 2 or more parties. Example 2. The 2 smaller parties formed a coalition to gain more power. 4. Summit, noun. Meaning: a meeting between heads of government or other high-ranking officials. Example 1. She attended numerous EU summits to discuss economic policy. Example 2. The G20 summit will focus on climate change this year. 5. Austerity, noun. Meaning: difficult economic conditions created by government measures to reduce public spending. Example 1. During the Eurozone debt crisis, she insisted on austerity measures for countries receiving bailouts. Example 2. The new budget introduced several austerity policies. Now, let's learn some powerful words for leadership and crisis management. Pragmatic, adjective. Meaning: dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Example 1. Angela Merkel was known for her pragmatic approach to problem solving. Example 2. We need a pragmatic solution, not just an idealistic one. Related word: pragmatism, noun. 7. Steadfast, adjective. Meaning: resolutely or dutifully firm and unwavering, loyal and committed. Example 1. She remained steadfast in her commitment to European unity, even during crises. Example 2. He was a steadfast supporter of human rights. Synonym: unwavering, resolute. Consensus, noun. Meaning: a general agreement among a group of people. Example 1. Her leadership style often involved seeking consensus among different parties or countries. Example 2. After a long discussion, the committee finally reached a consensus. 9. To navigate a crisis, verb. Meaning: to guide a course through a difficult or complex situation. Example 1. She successfully mapsed Germany through several major global crises. Example 2. The new CEO has the difficult task of navigating the company out of its financial problems. 10. Refugee, noun. Meaning: a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. Example 1. In 2015, Germany accepted over 1 million refugees. Example 2. International law provides certain protections for refugees. 11. Unification, noun. Meaning: the process of being united or made into a whole. Example 1. The fall of the Berlin Wall led to the unification of Germany. Example 2. The main goal of the project is the unification of different software systems. O-related word, to unify, verb. 12. Quantum chemistry, noun phrase. O-meaning, a branch of chemistry whose primary focus is the application of quantum mechanics in physical models and experiments of chemical systems. Example 1. Angela Merkel earned a doctorate in quantum chemistry before entering politics. Example 2. Quantum chemistry is a highly complex scientific field. Excellent. These are very sophisticated words. For your mini-task, think about a leader in your own community or country. Try to describe one of their actions or qualities using one of our new words. For example, the mayor of my city took a pragmatic approach to solving the traffic problem. Welcome back. Now, let's dive into our grammar focus. Expanding on reported speech, specifically looking at reported questions and commands requests. In a previous lesson, we learned how to report statements. For example, direct. She said, "The economy is improving." Reported. She said that the economy was improving. Now, let's see how we report questions and commands. This is vital for understanding news reports about political discussions or summarizing instructions. Part 1. Reported questions. There are two types of questions: yes, no questions, and wash questions. A. Reporting. Yes, no questions. These are questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. When we report them, we use if or whether. The word order changes from a question to a statement, and the verb tense usually backshifts, moves one step into the past, just like with reported statements. We don't use a question mark. Structure. Reporting verb, ask, wonder, want to know, plus, if, whether plus subject, plus verb, backshifted. Direct. The reporter asked, "Is a solution possible?" Reported. The reporter asked if, whether a solution was possible. Direct. She asked her advisor, "Do you have the data?" Reported. She asked her advisor if, whether he had the data. B. Reporting which. Questions. These are questions that start with a question word like who, what, where, when, why, how. When we report them, we use the same which word. The word order also changes to a statement form, and the verb tense usually backshifts. Structure. Reporting verb, plus which word, plus subject, plus verb, backshifted. Direct. He asked, "What is your strategy?" Reported. He asked what her strategy was. Direct. The journalist asked, "When will the decision be made?" Reported. The journalist asked when the decision would be made. Part 2. Reported commands and requests. When we report a command, an order, or a request, we usually use a reporting verb like tell, order, ask, request, advise, warn, followed by an object, the person spoken to, and an infinitive, to plus verb. For negative commands, we use not to plus verb, structure, command, reporting verb plus object plus not, to plus base form of the verb. Direct. The Chancellor told her ministers, "Prepare a new budget." Reported. The Chancellor told her ministers to prepare a new budget. Direct. The security guard said, Don't enter this area. Reported? The security guard told us not to enter that area. Structure. Request. Reporting verb plus object plus not to plus base form of the verb. Often uses ask politely. Direct. She said to her assistant, "Could you bring me the report, please?" Reported. She asked her assistant to bring her the report. Let's do a quiz to practice these new forms. Convert the direct speech to reported. Speech. Direct question. The citizen asked, "Will the government help us?" Reported. The citizen asked. The answer is, if whether the government would help them. Direct question. The interviewer asked Merkel, "Why did you decide to open the borders?" Reported. The interviewer asked Merkel for why. The answer is why she had decided to open the borders. Direct command. Her father told her, "Be careful with your words." Reported. Her father told her. The answer is to be careful with her words. Direct request. The EU leader asked her, "Please support our proposal." Reported. The EU leader asked her. The answer is to support their proposal. Mastering reported questions and commands is a significant step in becoming a more sophisticated and accurate user of English, especially when discussing news or formal interactions. So, how can we use the complex and challenging world of Angela Merkel's leadership to practice our 4 core English skills? First, your listening mission is to find a news report or a short documentary clip about one of the crises Angela Merkel managed, for example, the 2015 migrant crisis or the Eurozone debt crisis. You can search on YouTube for Angela Merkel Euro, Crisis Deutsche Welle English, or Angela Merkel Migrant Crisis BBC News. As you listen, your specific goal is to try and identify examples of reported speech. Does the reporter say, "The Chancellor said that," or "Other leaders asked if"? Note down these examples. This will train your ear for how information is relayed in news reporting. Second, speaking. Let's do a challenge called the Crisis Negotiator. Imagine you are a leader in a meeting trying to solve a difficult problem with 2 other groups who have different opinions. The problem could be anything: a budget cut at work, a disagreement in a community project, or even planning a family holiday where everyone wants to do something different. Speak for 60-90 seconds. Your goal is to 1. Acknowledge the problem. Ask questions to understand each group's perspective. Practice reported questions by thinking about what they might say. Suggest a compromise or give a directive. For example, "Good morning. We have a difficult situation. Group A, you have told me that you want X. Group B, you have said that you prefer Y. I asked my team if there was a middle ground. They told me to consider option Z. What do you all think about this approach? I want everyone to think about it and come back with suggestions tomorrow." Record yourself. This is excellent practice for using reported speech in a problem-solving context. Third, reading. Your reading task is to find an opinion article or analysis piece about Angela Merkel's legacy. Websites like The Guardian, The New York Times International, Edition or project syndicate often have thoughtful articles. Choose one. The language might be challenging. Your goal is not to understand every word, but to identify the writer's main opinion about Angela Merkel. Is it positive, negative, or mixed? What reasons do they give? Look for phrases like, Merkel was seen as, or it was said that, passive voice, and also how the writer reports Merkel's own statements or questions. Finally, writing. For your writing practice, you are going to write a short summary of a meeting or a formal discussion you recently participated in or read about. Imagine you are writing minutes or a report for someone who wasn't there. Your summary should be about 100-150 words. Your specific goal is to include at least one reported statement, at least one reported yes, no question, at least one reported why question, at least one reported command or request. For example, the meeting discussed the new project timeline. The manager said that the deadline was very tight. John asked if we could have more resources. The manager then asked what specific resources were needed. Finally, she told everyone to submit their resource requests by Friday. This is a fantastic way to put all your reported speech skills into practice in a realistic context. The most powerful inspirational lesson from Angela Merkel's journey is how a complete outsider, a scientist from a repressed state, could rise to become one of the most significant global leaders of her time, precisely because of her unique background, not in spite of it. Think about it. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, Angela Merkel was a 35-year-old quantum chemist with absolutely no political experience, no connections, and no public profile. The world of West German politics was a closed, male-dominated club. By all conventional logic, she had no chance. But the fall of the wall was a moment of profound disruption. It was a 0 hour where the old rules suddenly didn't apply. And in that moment of chaos and opportunity, her unique skills became her superpowers. Her scientific training taught her to be analytical, to look for evidence, to break down complex problems into manageable parts, and to remain calm and rational under pressure. These were not the typical skills of a charismatic politician, but they were exactly the skills needed to navigate the messy, complex process of German reunification, and, later, to manage a series of rolling global crises. Her upbringing in East Germany taught her patience, caution, and the ability to read situations and people carefully. She knew what it meant to live in a system where words had serious consequences. This made her a very careful and deliberate communicator, and often a very effective, if quiet, negotiator. She didn't try to be someone she wasn't. She didn't suddenly become a fiery orator. She remained true to her analytical, methodical self, and it was precisely this authenticity, this consistency, that slowly earned her the trust of the German people and the respect of world leaders. She didn't fit the traditional mold of a leader, so she created a new one. This is a profound lesson for all of us, particularly as language learners. Sometimes we feel like outsiders. We might think, my background is different, my accent is different. I don't think like a native speaker. We might try to hide these differences and imitate what we think a perfect English speaker sounds like. Angela Merkel's story teaches us the opposite. Your unique background, your different way of thinking, your native language, your cultural perspective, these are not weaknesses. They are your unique strengths. They allow you to see things that others might miss. They give you a different kind of intelligence. Don't try to erase what makes you you. Bring your whole self to your English learning journey. Your scientific mind can help you analyze grammar. Your artistic mind can help you appreciate the beauty of the language. Your unique cultural perspective can help you ask interesting questions and make connections that a native speaker might never think of. Embrace your outsider status. It can be the source of your greatest insights and your most powerful voice. If you are inspired by the steadfast leadership of Angela Merkel and wish to learn more, here are some excellent resources. First, for in-depth reading, there are several highly acclaimed biographies of Angela Merkel. Cody Martin's The Chancellor, The Remarkable Odyssey of Angela Merkel, and Stefan Cornelius's Angela Merkel, the Authorized Biography, offer comprehensive insights into her life and career. These are for advanced learners, but are rich in detail. Second, Deutsche Welle, DW, Germany's international broadcaster, has an excellent English language website and YouTube channel. They have extensive archives of news reports and documentaries about her time as Chancellor. This is a fantastic resource for listening and reading practice. Third, looking for compilations of her speeches with English translations on YouTube can be very insightful. Pay attention to her calm, deliberate delivery style, even when discussing incredibly complex issues. Finally, articles from reputable international news organizations like The Economist, The Guardian, Reuters, and Associated Press will provide ongoing analysis of her legacy. We have now reached the end of our detailed exploration into the life and leadership of former German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Let's quickly summarize the key insights from our session today. We have journeyed through the remarkable career of a scientist who became a political powerhouse, guiding Germany and Europe through an era of unprecedented crises. We have enriched our vocabulary with sophisticated terms from the worlds of politics and economics. We have deepened our understanding of reported speech, focusing on questions and commands, a vital skill for advanced communication. And most importantly, we have been inspired by a story that champions the power of quiet competence, analytical thinking, and steadfast resilience. Angela Merkel's legacy is complex and will be debated for years to come. But what is undeniable is that she brought a unique and often underestimated set of skills to the world stage. Her scientific approach, her caution, her pragmatism, and her sheer endurance allowed her to manage situations that might have overwhelmed other leaders. As you continue on your path to English fluency, I encourage you to cultivate your own unique strengths. You don't need to be the loudest or the most charismatic person to be an effective communicator. Clarity of thought, careful preparation, and a commitment to understanding the facts can be just as powerful. So, here is your final task for today. In the comments section below, let's practice our reported speech. Think of a question someone asked you recently, or a command request someone gave you. Report it to us. For example, My teacher asked me if I had finished my homework. Or, my manager told me to prepare the report by tomorrow. I am very much looking forward to reading your examples. If you found this deep dive into the world of global leadership valuable and insightful, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to Grow English Mastery for more lessons that challenge your mind and build your English skills. And share this video with a friend who is interested in politics or strong leadership. Thank you for your incredible focus and for joining me in this very serious but very important discussion today. I'm your host, Scarlett, reminding you that sometimes the quietest voices have the most powerful things to say. I can't wait to see you in our next lesson. Goodbye for now.